Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to an encouraging word with Life's Pastor. I want to talk to you about how hope can spring in the valley. I'm reminded of the scripture in Isaiah chapter 65, verse 10. It says, "And Sharon shall be a fold of flocks in the valley of Achor, a place for the herds to lie down in, for my people that have sought me." The Bible teaches and talks about the valley of Achor. We find it in 3 different books of the Bible. And the first book we find that in is the book of Joshua. In Joshua chapter 7, we know that Achor is known as a place of trouble. In fact, Joshua chapter 7 is where we find that there was sin that had taken place in the camp. And at that time, Achan was brought forth. He was stoned, his family was burned, and all of those troubles were left in Achan, or in Achor. And Achan's family no longer had had no more existence because they were done away with at that time frame. And so that valley was known as a place of trouble. I find it really interesting as I look into Isaiah 65 today, and it was talking about, "And Sharon shall be a fold of flocks in the valley of Achor, a place for the herds to lie down in." And today I will say that there are a lot of people that are in troubled situations. Circumstances of this time frame have caused a lot of heartaches. Even myself, I'd planned on having this posted this morning at 6 a.m., but it was after 10 the last 3 nights when I've actually left the church. So because of those things, there's a lot of people that are hurting today. Now, Achor was a place that was known for pain, but Isaiah records it as a place of a beautiful place and a beautiful valley. The other book in the Bible that we find the city Achor spoken of is in the book of Hosea. And in Hosea, it talks about, in fact, we're going to go there together in Hosea. It's Hosea chapter 2. We find that it talks about how that there was, in verse 15, "And I will give her vineyards from hence in the valley of Achor for a door of hope. And she shall sing there as in the days of her youth and as in the days when she came up out of the land of Egypt." So right here in this verse of scripture, it is talking about the change that came to Achor in the valley. Well, it was once known in Joshua as a valley of failure, a valley of pain, a valley of leaving sin and burning sin. Right here in Hosea is talking about it being an open door. And I want to encourage you today, it's talking about a door of hope, that the door of hope is very, very possible for you today. You may have been floundering around some edges and you've come against some things, but the door of hope still exists. And what changed from Joshua to Hosea, and we read in Isaiah just a moment ago, was the past was buried, and through it God brought a clear land. Through it God brought fertile soil. Through it it became a place of refuge. The situation you're dealing with today, allow God through it to make it a place of beauty. Allow God through it to make it a place where you can say, "Hey, I may have been in the valley and it was pain, but it became a door of hope," like Hosea just said about the valley of Achor. And if you notice that verse of scripture, it actually talks about how that they're going to be, singing again, and there's going to be rejoicing in the valley of Achor. And it was prophesying that God was going to show mercy and restore his people. And today in this time frame, God is going to show mercy, and I believe he's going to restore his people. I believe God is moving things and situations to bring it for his glory. Last night in our Zoom prayer call, we had a powerful time, and we had one of the brothers that did a testimony and talked about the day that he had a tree branch that literally went through his eye and 1.5 inches into his brain. And he talked about how God brought him through that, and now his eyesight is actually better out of that eye than the other eye. And in your situation today, it's how you look at it. Those pictures last night, he talked about the 40 staples they put in his head after having to go into his brain area to pull that out. And he talked about the way that the pain that he went through. Sometimes you look at circumstances and say, "Oh my, oh, why me? Why? Why am I going through this? Why is that pain there?" Well, if we can be constant and consistent in the valley, God can make it beautiful. Just like we just read here. If you can be constant and consistent in the valley, it can become a place of beauty. It can become a place of refuge. And today, I encourage you, stay faithful to God. Stay faithful to his promise. And let him take the valley that was pain and turn it into a place of beauty for his glory and for his honor. We love you today. Have a blessed day. We got a great weekend ahead. Let's stay faithful to God. Thanks for checking out this encouraging word. Feel free to share it because I believe other people need to be encouraged. Have a great day.